Hi, my name is Grace. Welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to be giving 5 tips on how to have better work-life balance so that you have no more burnout. Work-life balance is basically how you manage the time and the energy that you put into your work and into your personal life, because you want to do a good job at work, but you also want to be able to enjoy life, relax, and do the things that make you happy. At the end of the day, the reason why you're working is so that you can live a happy life. And so work-life balance is extremely important. So the first tip on how to have better work-life balance is to set your priorities. Now, work-life balance looks differently for everybody, and it's extremely personal. For example, for me, I'm a mom, I have 3 kids, I have a husband, and so work-life balance for me is to be able to spend quality time with my husband, spend good time with my kids, actually have time for myself, and then still also be able to do a good job at work. So I want to be able to do all of that. And if I'm able to balance all those different things, then I would say that I have good work-life balance. For you, it might look different. For example, if you're single, maybe work-life balance for you is being able to work hard and then still be able to travel, still be able to visit your friends, still be able to visit family, and do whatever it is that, makes you happy. And so setting the priorities of what's important to you and defining what it is that you want in terms of better work-life balance is extremely important. Because once you have that, then you can be able to go and actually ask for any sort of flexibility that you need. And I'll give an example. About 5 years ago, my daughter was in a school that was about 45 minutes from where I used to work. I worked a regular 8 to 6, and so did my husband. And her school ended at 3:30ish, and she needed to be picked up. The bus would not come all the way to where we lived. And so I was extremely stressed out about how we're going to get her home because, again, I worked from 8 to 6. And so picking her up at 3 meant I'm disrupting my general, working time. And so I went to my boss and I basically told her, look, I need to be able to pick up my daughter at 3:30. So I'm going to be leaving work every day at 2:45. And then I'm going to probably get home by around 5 p.m. And then after that, I'll log back in and make up the time. And my boss was like, okay, sure, go ahead. Let's try it. And if it doesn't work, we can always revisit later. So that was fantastic. Because then after that, I used to leave work every day for months on end. And actually, it was until I actually didn't need to anymore. I would leave work at 2:45, pick up my daughter, take her home, and then I'll be able to log back in and be able to make up the time. And so identifying what is important to you and then being able to ask for that flexibility or somehow weave it into your work life, that's the first tip. So for you, it could be things like you want to be able to work out in the morning and have a later start at maybe like 9:30 or things like that. So just think about what's important to you and then start to think about how you can incorporate that into your work life. The second tip is to set boundaries between your work and your personal life. Now, if you work outside the home, this is a lot easier because you physically leave your house to go to work and then you physically leave work to come home. And so that boundary is kind of set from that perspective. But for me, I work from home 4 days a week. And so that means I'm in my office and my home is all in the same place. And so some of the things I've done to be able to set those boundaries is I have a dedicated workspace that's away from where I relax and where I hang out with my family. And so what that means is that when I'm sitting in my dedicated workspace, I'm working. But when I leave that space at the end of the day, then I've left. I'm physically actually leaving the space so that I can be able to spend time with the rest of my family. And so I've heard of people who do things like in the morning, they'll actually get dressed and into professional clothes and log into work. And then in the evening, they take those clothes off and jump into comfy clothes. So if you have these tips and tricks on how to really tell your mind that, okay, the workday is starting and the workday is ending, those are some of the tips that you should do. The third tip is to be more efficient at work. So basically be having efficient time management. A lot of times the reason why you're having to log in in the evening is because you were procrastinating during the day and not getting what you needed done. And maybe that's not true. Maybe you really do just have a lot of work, but you can, if it's because of procrastination that you're having to work in the evenings, there's things that you can do to get better at managing your time at work so that you can be more productive, and then you will need to log in less. For example, you can be able to start your day thinking, what are the 3, 4, 5 things I need to do today? And then block times on your calendar to be able to work on those different things. A lot of times I've found that if you dedicate an extended period of time to tackle one single thing, you're going to go a lot farther than if you're trying to multitask and do 5 different things over, over your day, because you're going to be less efficient when you're less focused. Other things you can do is setting a time limit for how long you're going to work on a task. So for example, you can say, I'm going to work on this task for 1.5 hours, and then after that, I'm moving on to the next thing. That way you're not finding yourself trying to tackle one thing the whole day when you have 4 other things to take care of. So really figuring out ways to be more efficient at work so that you can be more productive, and then have, the time at home is really time at home. The 4th tip is to prioritize your health. And so what does this mean? Basically, there are things that are important to you and your health. For example, if you're somebody that works out, if you're somebody that eats healthy, somebody that needs to get, good sleep, these are all things that are important to stay healthy and to be able to have a good, healthy life, especially if you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. And so really prioritize that. Michelle Obama said something like, we need to learn how to put ourselves higher on our to-do lists or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. But basically what that means is the things that are important to keep you healthy, the things that are important to keep you happy, those need to go higher on your to-do list, even higher than some of your work responsibilities. And so find ways to be able to actually prioritize that, whether it means putting it on the calendar and setting time apart for those things that are keeping you healthy. Put gym time on your calendar. If you need to get out and go for a walk, put that time at lunchtime. You go every day for a walk. Put things on the calendar that are important to you so that you can start to actually do them. And then the last tip is to get help or ask for help if you need it. A lot of times, some people have been so burnt out, you're kind of past the point of doing all of these tips and tricks on your own, and you really just need help. You can ask for, help from your network, whether it's at home or in the office, could be your family or your friends, or if you need, you should also ask for professional help. A lot of companies have resources that can be able to help you so that you can be able to stay mentally healthy, because that's, at the end of the day, is what's most important. The reason most of us, again, are working is so that we can live a good life. So those are the 5 tips on how to have better work-life balance, and I'll see you in my next video.